Hello my dear students of class 8. I am again back today with a new video. In this video, we will know about water resources. We will know about the factors that cause problem of water scarcity and how to solve the problem of water scarcity. That means the ways to conserve the water resources. So let's get started. Water is a vital renewable resource. We know it is a precious resource and it is very useful for the sustenance of life. We all know that Earth is called a blue planet. Why Earth is called a blue planet? Because 3/4 surface of the Earth is covered up with water. That means 71% of the Earth's surface is covered up with water. But do you know that 96.5% of total volume of water exist in oceans and only 2.5% is available as fresh water, and this 2.5% occurs as ice sheets. That means 70% of the fresh water occurs as ice sheets and glaciers in Antarctica and Greenland, and these are inaccessible. We cannot utilize this fresh water which is available as ice sheets and glaciers. Out of 2.5%, only 1% of fresh water is available and fit for human use, which is found as groundwater and surface water in lakes and rivers. Water is used for different purposes by human beings, like for agriculture, for domestic use, for industries, and also to generate hydroelectricity through reservoirs and dams. Water is neither added nor subtracted. The total volume of water remains constant, but it seems that the abundance of water may vary from one place to another. Why? Because of the continuous movement of water on, above and below the surface. Now let us know about the continuous movement of water, that is hydrological cycle. Now let us know about the concept of water cycle. Water cycle is also known as the hydrological cycle, which describes the continuous circulation of water from the Earth's surface to the atmosphere, then back to the ground. Water goes through all the three states: solid, liquid, gas. Water cycle includes process of precipitation, condensation, evaporation, transpiration. Now let us understand the process of water cycle. The heat from the sun causes water on Earth in lakes, oceans to evaporate, and here the state of water changes from liquid to gas and rise to sky. Simultaneously, plants and trees also lose water to the atmosphere. As moist air is lifted, it cools and water vapor condenses to form clouds. Moisture is transported around the globe until it returns to the surface as precipitation. This may occur in the form of rain, hail, snow or sleet. The amount of precipitation that comes back to the surface, some of the water may evaporate back into the atmosphere, or some penetrate the surface and become groundwater. Groundwater either seeps its way into the oceans, rivers and streams, or is released back in the atmosphere through transpiration. The balance of water that remains on the Earth's surface is runoff, which empties into lakes, rivers and streams and is carried back to the oceans, where the cycle begins again. Water is again ready to be evaporated. Thus, in the process of water cycle, which is a continuous circulation of water on, above and below the surface of the Earth, water is neither added nor subtracted. The total volume of water remains constant. This is how the water cycle has been going on for billions of years, thus bringing fresh water to people, for animals and for the plants. You all understood the concept of hydrological cycle, As we have learned that water is available, but most amount of water is where is in oceans, and it is too salty and cannot be put into use. And the fresh water supply is very limited. Now, due to increase in the number of population and what we are doing, we are overutilizing the water resources, and this is leading to shortages in freshwater supply and in turn leading to water scarcity. And what is water scarcity? Water scarcity means shortage in the availability of fresh water supply to meet the standard water needs of the people. That is referred as water scarcity. That is shortage in availability of fresh water supply to meet the standard water needs. Now let us see the factors which are responsible for shortages in supply of fresh water. The first factor is increasing population. As the population is increasing, it is putting or it is exerting pressure on the existing water resources and the land resources. And that is why the water resources are overutilized. With the increase in population, the demand of food grains and the cash crops are increasing. Obviously, if there will be no food, how the population will sustain? Now, with the increase in demand of food and cash crops, it will lead to increase in irrigational facilities and also more use of groundwater. So somewhere it will lead to overutilization of resources. Increasing urbanization, that means creation of more urban centers, towns and cities, and the number of people who are coming and living in the towns and cities are day by day increasing. So as the number of people are increasing, that means the water consumption is increasing. So as the water consumption is increasing, people, especially the richer section of people, they are using more water resources, they are using more water intensive goods, which is leading to a gap between the richer and the poor sections of people, where the richer sections of people, the rich section of people, rich and poor, they are getting water resources, and the poor people, they get inadequate water supply, which cause sanitation problem for the poor people who are living in the slum areas. This increasing urbanization also leading to rising standard of life. Why? Because the income of the people is increasing. As the income increasing, they are utilizing more water intensive goods. They have their private tube wells or the pump set which they are utilizing to meet their demand for water. But for the poor people, they have to depend on the water supply which is not regular. Like if you have noticed in the slums of Kolkata or in the nearby slums where you people live, they have to depend on municipal water which is supplied for a particular period of time, and most of the time they face the problem of water scarcity or water shortage. And the next problem is high pace of industrialization. Due to increasing population and increasing urbanization, it is also leading to increase in the number of industries. As the number of industries are increasing, what is happening? The industries are utilizing the water to generate hydroelectricity. And not only this is the problem, but along with this, the industries are dumping the toxic waste of the industries in the water without treating them, which is leading to water pollution, and this is deteriorating the quality of water bodies, and in turn the water cannot be utilized for any use by the human beings. Now, the water scarcity is becoming a major problem, and the areas or some countries which are facing water scarcities are most of Africa, West Asia, South Asia, parts of Western Asia, Northwestern Mexico, parts of South America and Australia. mostly the regions which falls under the climatic zones of drought-prone regions, they are more prone to water scarcity. So the areas which are located in the climatic zones of drought-prone regions where the amount of rainfall is very low, so there we can see water scarcity is a huge problem. You may have heard that in Rajasthan the women have to walk a long distance to fetch water because water supply is very short there. Fresh water supply, we can say, is not available, so they have to walk long distances so that they can fetch water. But due to differentiation in distribution of annual or seasonal precipitation, the regions which are located in the dry or the arid regions where amount of rainfall is really low, they will face acute shortages of water. Shortage of water supply is another huge problem due to overutilization of the water resources and also due to contamination of the water bodies, like dumping of the waste materials, dumping of the dead bodies or corpse or garlands in the water bodies. It's a huge problem in the urban cities which is leading to deterioration and contamination of water bodies, and these water bodies or the water resources cannot be used by any one of us. Like Amreli in Saurashtra, here we have a population of 1.25 lakh, and here the shortage of water supply is so acute, that means scarcity of water is so acute that they have to purchase water from the nearby talukas. So you can understand what is the condition, that they have to purchase water so that they can meet their water requirements, they can fulfill their water requirements. So these are the factors which are leading to shortages in water supply, and these are the areas where water scarcity is a huge problem. Don't forget about Amreli, Saurashtra, where people have to purchase water from the nearby talukas. Now let us move ahead with the next topic. Now we need to understand the ways by which we can conserve the water resources. The first way by which we can conserve the water resources, is by increasing the forest and vegetation cover. What will happen if the forest and vegetation cover will increase? When it will rain, the water that runs in the surface is known as the surface runoff. If there will be no trees, the surface runoff will cause erosion of the soil because it will take away a huge lot of soil along with it. Now, as there will be trees, the roots of the plants will soak in the water and the water will drip down. That means they will move downwards, and this process is known as infiltration, and this will help in the recharge of underground water. So, the first way by which we can conserve our water resources is to increase in forest and vegetation cover, because it will help in reducing surface runoff and will lead to more infiltration. That means underground water, which is a source of fresh water, will be available to us for our use. The next one is water harvesting. This is a very common phenomenon, and you may have noticed it in the arid regions, and also if you have went to Tamil Nadu, you may have noticed this rainwater harvesting system. What happens? The roof of the house is used to collect the water. The first spell of rain is not used because it is used to clean the roof of the house. From the second spell of rain, it is collected and it is connected with a pipe. That means from the roof, the water comes down to the pipe and get collected in an underground water storage system, a reservoir, which can be utilized afterwards when there will be no water. You may have noticed this, that your parents also, like your mother may also do, when it rains very heavily, they keep a bucket or a vessel outside so that it can get filled up with the rainwater, and afterwards that rainwater can be utilized for different purposes, for washing clothes or for washing utensils, or sometimes it may be used for bathing also. So water harvesting is another way by which we can conserve the water, because it will help to save surface runoff. The third way is canals. That means we have seen that in a plot of land, when irrigation is used, canals are dug. And these canals are dug so that water from the source, from a stream or river, can easily reach the field, right? So here the canals which are used for irrigating the field should be properly lined up so that it can minimize the water loss by water seepage. So the canals need to be properly lined so that it should minimize the water loss by water seepage. The next method by which we can conserve the water is sprinkler system. You may have noticed this system, that sprinkler, through a pipe, the water like a sprinkle, it reaches to a large extent of area and provides water, and this is very, very useful. Why this is useful? Because it checks the water loss through seepage and evaporation. The next method by which we can conserve the water is drip or trickle irrigation system, which are mainly used in dry regions. You may have noticed in the dry regions, the areas where the crops are grown, here you will notice that pipes are set so that the water can reach the roots drop by drop. The main purpose is to allow the water to reach the roots of the plant. It helps to protect the nutrients and it also conserves the moisture of the soil. So it is very useful method, and especially it is used where in the dry regions. The next method by which we can conserve the water is installing recycling plants. That means some recycling plants need to be installed in the areas, especially in the dry regions and especially in the regions where water scarcity is a huge problem, so that the water which is once used can be again recycled and can be put into use, right? The next method by which we can conserve the water resources are the industrial effluents. That means we need to ensure that the industrial effluents are treated properly before disposing them into the water bodies. So we need to ensure that the industrial effluents are treated properly. Then only we can dispose them in the water bodies so that it does not cause water pollution and it does not make the water unfit for our utilization. Water is a valuable resource and it is required to be conserved because human beings cannot live without water. Our life is more or less dependent on water. So these are the ways by which we can conserve the water resources: increasing forest and vegetation cover, water harvesting, canals used for irrigating fields should be properly lined up, sprinkler system, drip or trickle system, installing recycling plants, industrial effluents. So in today's video, we understood about water as a resources. What are the causes which are leading to shortage in water supply? Which are the areas which are facing acute shortages of water? And the ways by which we can conserve the water resources. Hope so all of you understood. Go through the NCERT, go through the PDF which is provided in the description box. If you have any suggestion, any questions, you can write in the comment box given below. If you want to see my upcoming videos, you need to subscribe my channel. If you are new to my channel, Don't forget to subscribe, and also don't forget to click on the bell icon for getting the upcoming notifications of my videos. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like the content. Hope so. You are all safe and you are healthy staying at your home. Till then, take care and stay safe.